Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm sure we're all excited to be here today. Today is the last day of this workshop. Woo, I'm excited already. Um, I hope we had a lovely day. Our day wasn't stressful. And if you're here, welcome once again. Today code editor, Git, and GitHub. So I hope we're all ready for this wonderful class. I hope we are always writing materials, our laptops. All right, now I think I'll hand it over to our coach for today. See you later. Bye. Coach Benjamin, over to you. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Um, I I hope you all can hear me. Please just signify so I'm sure you guys can hear me. Hi, Cynthia. What's up? Can you hear me, Cynthia? Um, I hope you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me, please, so I go on? I want to be sure. Okay, all right. That's cool. All right, I'm glad to be here today. I know I can't see your faces, but okay, I think maybe you should see my face a little bit. All right, okay, all right, so that's me over there. So I'm glad to be here today, most especially um, not because I'm doing what I love, but because I love sharing the knowledge I have. I love teaching people. I love to talk about tech and everything. So that's one of the reasons why I'm glad. So I'm excited to have you all here. Yeah, Oluchi, thank you. The first time I saw your name, Luchis, I was wondering maybe it was one of my schoolmates, and I was like, is this Oluchi or something now? All right,
They don't do
so
your face.
all right. Funny enough, I have one of my friends here, Cynthia. She's a very good friend. She's a Django developer. So I was happy also to see her here. So, all right. So let's just go on to the business we have for today. Let me present my screen. Deborah, please, can you allow me to present? Hello, Deborah.
Sorry, I think I'm having issues with my network,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm on that already.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know. It's not bringing the option to make a host. I don't know why.
Sorry, please.
It's okay. To do alone, I've seen my sisters not liking the issue, the programming stuff, and so I always assumed, yeah, tech was just for guys alone. But I like the revolution or what is happening that started happening recently, where there's this inclusiveness for women coming into tech. And I mean, if we apply for a job, if I apply for a job with you, and you're a lady, there are more chances of you getting that job than me. Even if we're on the same, we have the same qualification and experience. Even if you're a bit lower than me, there's more chances of you getting that job because you're a lady. So I like the fact that more ladies are coming to tech. It's just that I find it hard to convince my sisters about that. All right. So I don't know. Is it ready now? Oh, it's not ready yet.
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen, but it's still disabled. So I can't really start because I need to show my slides while I talk. Hi, Abraham. Nice to have you around. Nice to have you.
Okay, thank you so much. I won't be able to talk much. I'm on transit.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Thank you, bro. I guess the screen is yes. So let me present right away. Present right away. Accept. All right, let me present right away. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Please indicate if you can see my screen so I know I'm on. Hello, can someone say something so I know I'm?
Yes.
Okay.
Your screen is fair.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we've started a little bit. We are behind time. So let's get straight to business. Today we're going to be talking about Git and GitHub. I guess a lot of us have heard about Git, GitHub, Git, and GitHub. So we're going to try to demystify a little bit of it. And see, I remember when I came into tech, really, I did not really like the Git stuff. Okay, but later on, as we'll see in a bit, we get to know why I love Git along the way. Okay, so the agenda for today, we're going to talk about Git and GitHub. What is Git and GitHub? Why use Git? Why do we have to use Git? Why do we have to use Git? We're going to talk about, just like some people ask me, why do I have to use a virtual environment? They say, okay, but I can use a global environment. Why do I have to create a virtual environment for my project? But not until you get into, you hit a brick wall, you wouldn't know why you have to do this thing. They make life easy a lot of times. So next, we're going to talk about installation, and finally, we're going to talk about how to use Git. That's going to be the practical aspect of it. Okay. So please, if at any point you can hear me, just indicate so I reiterate what I just said. All right. So what is Git? What is Git? Git It's a distributed version control system. Yeah, Git is a distributed version control system. You might say, what does that mean? So basically, this is simply saying it's a system that records changes to our files over time. I'm working on a project. I want to see my how far I've gone in 2 weeks, in 1 week, in a month. You're working on a big project. You want to see, you want to be able to track your changes over time. So with Git, you can do all of that seamlessly, very easy. We can record specific versions. We can record specific versions of those files at any given time. If probably you want to go back to maybe a version maybe a branch or a version of a file for 2 weeks back or your project, you can easily do that with your Git without even thinking, okay, how do I have to go back to my last week commit and all? But with Git, it's very easy. Lastly, many people can easily collaborate on a project and have their own version of project files on their computer. So with Git, I can be working with Cynthia. Cynthia could be maybe in Lagos, I could be in Abuja, and we can all collaborate and work together. So you can see how massive and important Git is to our daily work as developers, okay? So why use Git? Okay, so I'm going to give a very funny and simple illustration. Say you're working on, I was employed. I had this client, I got a job and I was asked to develop a website. And from the specification they gave to me, please give me a second, let me close my door. All right, sorry, I have to shut my door. So from the specification I was given, from my right here, you can see project X, project X for client. So they say, okay, I should design this website. And as you can see, the layout here, link 1, link 2, and the write-ups and the image and the footer, everything is the way they gave for the specification. And so, okay, I've worked for some time, and in a week time, I did what I was asked to, and I sent the link to the client, and he was like, "Oh, you know what? We've done a little bit changes. We don't want the big problem. I just go on and I change the color to pink. Of course, that looks simple to you because, of course, if you know CSS, it's just one with CSS, it's just one thing you have to change. And so maybe after 2 or 3 days, I'm done with that part of the project, and I get back to my client. Okay, I'm done with this. The links are now pink and the background and everything. And it was like, okay, you know what? The colors are fine, but the image, I don't actually like where the image is. Can you change it to maybe the left side of the screen? And I'm like, Jesus, not again. And I have to change. You can see how much I'm doing now. To me, it looks a little bit easy, but we're going to see how difficult this is going to get as we keep going on. And I have to change the image to the left and the right up to the right and all of that. And I get back to the client and it's like, you know what? We don't want the links to be at the head, at the top. We want it to be at the left side of the page. And I'm like, okay, that's simple. I go over my project again and I change everything to be by the left side. And I get back to my client and they're like, you know what? I think the original version is what we wanted. Now imagine how you feel. Like, I want to punch this guy. You understand? So you feel really terrible because you imagine how much you've done, and now they're asking you to go back to the original project, the original design we had initially. That's something terrible. You can't imagine going back. Like, in fact, you have to start the project all over. In my case, I had to start all over because, I mean. So, but with Git now, that's where came the question: how do we control? How do we track our changes over time? You understand? So manually, you would think, okay, I thought of this actually. You think maybe, okay, for my first version, I'll name the folder version 1. Okay, maybe when the clients come again, I save that folder and duplicate it and make changes to the second folder. But that's kind of redundant. Over time, you realize that your maybe after several weeks or days, you realize that, okay, you have over 25 versions of your project and your hard disk is almost filled up. How do you do that? You know, that's a lot of challenges. So that's what brought all about Git. That's how Git came about, how we need to track our changes over time. I don't know. Does anyone say something? Sounds mic is on. I don't know. Can you? Okay. All right. Better. All right. So why use Git? If you followed my illustration of having to track what you're doing over time, so you begin to ask, why do I have to use Git? So why do you have to use Git? To store revisions in a project history in just one directory. So you don't have to create several directories like this, project one, version 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So you store versions and revisions in a project history in just one directory. Directory also folders, your project folder. You rewind to any revision in the project anytime you want to. So I can go back to version 1 anytime I want to. Very easy. Number 3, you can work on new features without missing of the main code base. Yeah, you can work on new features by creating a branch, as probably we'll see later if our time permits. You create a branch, work on new feature, then merge it back without even messing up your code base. I mean, this is what gave me a lot of headache when I came into tech newly. But over time, you see how easy it is to go over there. Then lastly, it's easy to collaborate with other programmers, other developers. It's very easy to collaborate with them using Git. All right. So that takes us to our next slide, GitHub. What is GitHub? So GitHub is simply a website. I can say that it's simply a website. So it's an online service that hosts our projects. So Git and GitHub are not actually the same, they are different. Okay, GitHub is just a website where you can store your repositories, okay? Whereas Git is a version control system. So don't get it wrong, okay? So it's a place where you can share your code with other developers. Developers can download the project. They can re-upload their edits and merge them with the main code base. Like I said, you just have to create a branch and merge it later to your main code base. All right. All right. So without wasting much time, I wouldn't want to spend much time talking about theories and all. I love to do practicals, then I can go back to read theories. Okay, that's how it's easier that when you see how the nuts and bolts, everything work in an engine, you can then go out to read the theory. But if you keep on reading the theory, sometimes it's a bit difficult. And that's how I feel. So we'll just jump into the practicals, then we can then talk about a little bit of theory again. So if you're on your PC, Mac, Windows, for me, I'm on Windows. Yeah, I'm using Windows to present now. So if you're on Mac, you simply have to click on any of these links here. Your Mac, Windows, Linux. You said what, please? Can you come again? Hello? Someone was saying something. Can you come again, please? All right. I guess that was not for me. All right. So it's very simple to have Git installed on your PC, on your machine. So depending on your operating system, if you're using Mac, you click on this link and get it downloaded. If you're using Windows, this link is for you. If you're using Solaris or Linux, just click on any of the link and follow the installation process. It's just as you installing any other application on your machine. It's simple and straightforward. So I guess 2 days back, our tutor talked about Git and installation. So I guess most of us must have done the installation process. So I wouldn't waste time over that as well. I just want us to get into the practical aspect straight out. Sorry. All right, I skipped some. All right, so some terms I'm going to be using while I talk. So directory is folder. Okay, directory is same as folder. I'm talking about terminal. You've been using terminal since we started. Okay, so that should not be a new term to you. CLI, command line interface, CD, you know what CD means? Change directory, okay? Code editor, we are using VS Code, okay? So I'm going to be using VS Code as well. But even if you're not using VS Code, you could be using Atom, you could be using PyCharm, you could be using Git actually comes with its own bash, which is the Git bash, okay? You can use that as well if you want to. And also repository, we're going to be creating a repository on our GitHub account, okay? And lastly, GitHub, I already talked about GitHub, all right? So, see. All right, so some few comments, Git comments. I just want to mention all of this so you know what I'll be talking about when I'm there. So clone, bring a repository that is hosted somewhere like GitHub into a folder on your local machine and work on it. Add to track your files and changes in Git. Commit means to save your files, okay? You add them, you commit. You add them, it's just like you call someone and you initiate the person. You call someone, you initiate the person. When I mean initiate, I mean assign or saving. Okay, that's what I mean. Then pushing means you're uploading it to your Git repository. Okay, that's the website. All right. It could be Git bucket, it could be GitLab or something, but we'll be using GitHub for our tutorial. Then to pull means to download changes from the repo. So push means you're uploading, pull means you're downloading. It's just simple. You're pushing, you're pulling, you're downloading, you're uploading. All right, so I think that's it for the theory. All right, so let's get down to a little bit business. I'll come back to the presentation in a bit. All right, so let me get back to all right. So all right, let me bring my terminal up. So all right. Okay, so please, if you can see my terminal, kindly indicate so I know I'm going with you guys. If you can see my Visual Studio terminal, can you kindly indicate, please? Hello? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, I just want to be sure everyone can see what I'm doing. Okay, all right, so this is VS Code, as we all know, so that's what I'll be using. And so first of all, what you have to do, you kindly go to where you want your repository to be. That's on your local machine, probably say on your desktop or any folder. But here I'm using my desktop. I saved my folder on my desktop and I named it Django Gear. So you could use the directory you've been using for our previous tutorials, like what you've been working on previously. You could use that as well. It's perfect. It's fine. Okay, but for me, I created a new directory on my desktop and I named it Django Girls. Okay, so that's where we're going to be working on. All right. I'm sorry if my voice is breaking. I don't know. All right. I hope you can hear me now. All right. So first of all, you create a directory wherever you want it to live in, like your project directory. Okay. So mine is called Django Girls. All right. That's the name of my directory. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a file. So I'm going to create a file and name it index.html. Okay, we're not going to be doing the full Django stuff, all right? We're just going to be doing, because this it still applies to everything, okay? Not just Django or HTML or whatever. So I'm going to be naming just this file, index.html. So, so I have my index.html here. Let me change it to HTML. All right, okay. All right. So like I mentioned earlier, I showed us some Git terminology like Git add, Git commit, Git clone, Git push, and Git push. So we see how to use all of that. All right. Okay. So first and first, so in order to use Git on your machine, after downloading your Git and installing it, okay, you will see this terminal. Basically, you see something like this. You see something like your Git bash, okay, from your installed application. So with that, you can know that Git has been installed on your PC. And so wherever you type Git, it will be recognized as a command, okay, on your PC. So, and that's what we're going to be using. So anything we'll be doing, the first thing we're going to type is going to be Git. Git anything, Git init, Git commit, Git push, and so on. So Git is just like a command to make your machine recognize that you're trying to type a Git command. Okay, just like in Django, you type Django admin or Python manager py and so on and so forth. So here we'll be using Git, all right? So before you be able to make use of Git on your PC, so I'm in my directory now named Django Girls, all right? So I'm going to say Git init, Git init. Git init simply means Git initialize. I'm trying to initialize because I'm trying to tell Git, okay, take this directory as a repository. Okay, this repository I want to work on my project. Okay, so Git init, I hit my enter button. So you can see Git is saying I have initialized an empty Git repository in this place here. Okay, so you can see previously this was not here, this U was not here. U simply means this change is not committed, it's not tracked yet. Okay, so that's why you see this U uncommitted. Okay, so I've succeeded initializing my Git here. So if you actually go, let's see, on some machines, you actually see, it will show you here, this is my master branch because I just started Git here, but previously this was not here, okay? So these are just few indications to tell you that you're on track, okay? So after this, so I have one file here. So let me say I say, let's see. Okay. Why there is I forgotten how to do this. Right, I'll just do basic stuff. I don't know why my stuff is not doing autocomplete. So that would have made a lot of things easier for me. So, so I have my hello world here. All right. All right. So for now, I have just one file, but I'm going to add another file in a bit. So now, how do I tell Git that, okay, I have one change in my directory. I want to track that change. Of course, that's what I want to do. I want to track change over time. As of now, Git has just been initialized, but Git is not tracking this guy here. I mean, this file, okay? So to do that, I simply do Git add. Now, there are two ways to add your files or your directory or anything inside your folder. You could do Git, then the name of the file index.html. But now imagine we have like 20 files or directories in our folder. Do we have to name them one after the other? Git add index, git add CSS, git add this, git add that. That's, one thing I love programming is we are kind of lazy. We want the shortest path to do something. We want the easier way to make something, okay? So it's easy. I don't have to do git add index.html. I could just simply do git add space and full stop or period. With this, I'm telling Git, add every file in this directory. Everything, even if they're 1,000, 100, 20, 30, add everything at once with a period. So you see how easy it is? You don't have to keep adding them single or one after the other. You could just use the full stop. So by the time I do this, Git add. So you can see this has changed now from the U to A. Okay, simply telling you that this has been added. It's no longer on track now, it's been added to my Git repository. Okay, so I'm tracking already. Each change I made here now will be tracked over time. So that's the essence of this Git add. I've included this guy to my repository, to my Git for tracking. Okay, so let's say I go on and I do something, H2, and let's say, Git slash GitHub tutorial, right? So I have, I had another heading here. So you can see what this is showing here, that it's been modified. From the alphabet alone, from the letter indicating here, you can actually know what the message is passing. So at first we have A, then we had A means it's been added. So now we're having A means I've actually modified this file. Okay. So now I can decide to do git add again, just to add what the changes I've made. Okay. As you keep making changes, you add and make comments. Okay. So, but for now, I won't add this. Okay. I'll just commit this for changes. For now, this change is not been tracked. Okay. So I'll say git commit. So I've added it previously. So I'll say git commit. Now, if you want to git commit, to make it easier for you, Git added a command for you to add a message. A message simply means I don't know if you guys can see my screen, I'm typing M here. A message simply means you're typing a message to let you know what you did at that particular point in time. It's not good you just said, okay, I committed. What did you commit? What changes did you make to your file? Did you add an index file? Did you add a CSS? Did you add an image? What changes did you make? If you don't add these messages, it will be hard for you to track your changes over time. So for you to add a message, simply put git commit -m, then you double quote and say, okay, added index page, and you close your commit, and there you go. Can you see? So with this, I've committed. First of all, I added, then I made a commit, then I passed a message saying added an index page. So if tomorrow or next week you want to come back to this particular point, when you see this message, it tells you, okay, this is actually what I'm looking for. All right. So you can see the message here: 1 file changed, 3 instruction, and create mode, blah blah blah, index.html. So please, if you don't understand anything or you have any question, please, you could just throw the question. So I don't end the class and maybe come back, ask some questions to things we've covered already. So if you have any question, please throw it at me, and I'll do justice to that immediately. All right. Okay, so thank you. All right, so let me go on. So after making commits, you might want to see your status, or you might want to see the branch you're working on. So to see the status of your progress, you could simply type git. Like I said, anything you're going to type, it always should be git. All right. And don't worry, I'm going to share the slides later so you can go back possibly. And I also share some resources on the group as well, so you can go back and read up. So anything you don't understand, you can go back. And also you can ask questions on the group. That's perfect. So git status. So you can see the git messages here. Here it's saying on branch master. So it's telling me that I'm a branch master. This is the main branch. So if I want to change branch to maybe feature 1 or feature 2, I could change that as well. So change is not staged for commit. So far, this change has not been staged for commit yet. This is only what we have over there. All right. So you can see no changes added to commit. Use git or add to add and make commits to your file. Okay, so let me just quickly git add again. Git commit and added second. I know these messages are not really making sense, but it's just to practice to show how this works, so we know what we are doing. All right. So you can see now, my working directory is clean now. It's clean. The no alphabet there means everything is working. So if I should make any little change here, even if I just insert a new line, it's going to tell me that, hey man, you did something here that's not been tracked. Something has been modified here. Okay. So for now, my working tree is clean. If I should check that, status. Can you see? So let me just clear my screen so you get CUS. So can you see on grid on branch master, you noted to commit working tree is clean. So you can say it's pretty straightforward. You initialize first of all by using git init, then you add your. It does not mean you have to do this at the very start of the project, but it's always advisable to do it at the start so you know where you started from. You could actually take an already completed project and do it. Perfect. It still works that way, whichever way you want it. But we are assuming we are starting from scratch already. All right. So you do git init, then git add. You're adding the files 20, 30 directories, 5 to any and everything. Okay. So now, okay, let me just even do that as well. Let me add a directory called, say, my images are going to be saved there. Okay, this is a directory called images. And let me add another called yeah. Okay. So you can see now I have an on track. This guy is on track here. Also, the images as well is on track. All right. So now I can still go over the process. I can reiterate again and say git add. So instead of saying git add images, git add style.css, I could just say git add all, and everything will be added to my folder. So you can see this guy here. So I want to say it's been changed now to A. All right, that means I've added everything. So I go over to the next one, git commit. So I could say added image folder and CSS file. How that's correct. Please don't always forget to close your code, because if you don't, that's going to throw an error. It's going to your timer is going to screen out and tell you you're making a mistake. There's always remember to close it, right? And always remember to pass this M. M means simply means you're passing a message. Okay. So you can see everything now is being tracked. And if I do my git style, and okay, let me just quickly do something here and say, let me just do something else. So color, say, let me just say red, body color is red, right? So let me do something here. Okay, status. Now, can you see, if you look at my screen here, other files are clean, but you can see modified here in red. Simply means there's a change in this file here that has not been tracked. I've modified it, but I've not added it. I've not made a commit yet to it. So Git is telling me that, hey man, that file. Let me show. I need to put on my. All right. Okay. So Git is telling me that this file has been modified and it's not been tracked. So over time, you don't need to even check here or wherever to know to track your changes. You could simply just type git status to know your current, to know the directories or the folders or the files that have been tracked. So I'll just simply go over the process again, git add, git commit. So I'll just say, in this while the style file. So I said I made some changes in the style file. Okay. So you can see now everything is being followed now. Everything is working. So that's basically the process you follow. You add, you commit, you add, you commit, you add, you commit. It's that simple. And over time, you can actually track your work over time. All right. So now let's assume we have this project. We've worked for like a week and we want to push it to our GitHub repository. Remember, I told us earlier that the GitHub is just a website where we can store our work. Okay, GitHub is just a website where you can store your work. It's where you can collaborate with other developers, and so you can see just like a save or like a bank. Yeah, I think that's more better. A bank where you can save your work and everything, and maybe download it later, share with people, or do anything you want to do with that. Okay. So before we go on, we are going to go over to let me stop sharing the screen and go over to my browser. Where's this guy? All right. Yeah. Um, okay. All right. So if you can see my screen here, this on GitHub, I'm on sign up here. Okay. So you simply hop on GitHub and uh, you click on sign up. Okay. To sign up is straightforward. It's very simple and straightforward. So you simply type your email address here and you type your email address here and you hit on continue. Okay. So you can see this email address has already been taken, already existed. So that's why I can use that. But say I have an email address. So let me say I want to use my info.ml series at gmail.com. You can see I can continue because this email has not been registered on GitHub. So it's very simple. After you click on this, it takes you to where you can put in your password, and I think that's the basic. Then you can always update your account later, so you don't have to do that at the start. Just for you to add your email and password, and it's as simple as that. But since I already have an account, but very simple. Okay, so let me sign in to my GitHub right away. So excuse me. All right, so I already have it saved there. So you can see, actually, when you come to GitHub at first, you see a screen like this, okay? Usually, okay, if you're a newbie, you're going to say, welcome to GitHub. Like, it's just a welcome message to tell you, welcome to GitHub, and so maybe info you need to see. Then usually you see a big button here telling you new, simply means create your first repository. Depending on where you registered, the message you might see will be quite different from mine here. But since I'm already a GitHub, I'm already using GitHub, so I'm seeing this, okay? So you could either click this, but if you don't see this, you could click on this guy here and click on new repository, all right? So when you create a new repository, so let me do that right away. So you'll be asked for the name. Probably you want to give it a name, say, what should the name be? Let me just say demo repo. All right. So I gave the name demo repo. It's just a demo. Okay. The name could be anything. Usually the name should be. Let me just give it the same name as the Django girls. So I gave it same name as what we're working on. Okay, our project. The project name is Django girls. That's the name of the folder. So the name must not be the same, but it's okay if the name is the same thing. So you actually know you're working. So you can see I don't actually have this repository before, so it's been approved. And you can choose to make it public or private. But usually, if you want to collaborate with people, you have to make it public so other people can see, contribute to it. You can add a description. Is just a demo repo. That's all. And You could add git readme file, add git ignore, and choose license and all. But I think basically what you need for a start, you don't need to even click anything here for now. So just click on create repository and boom, that's it. No more process. So you can see I have my repository now, Django Girls. And you can see pretty much everything we've done, we've iterated over. Git init means, okay, you're initializing a Git repository in your folder. Git commit, Git add, okay, Git add, yeah, Git commit, and so on and so forth. So the process just, the cycle just go on and on and on and on. Okay, so now we want to be able to store everything we've worked on from, I don't know if I can share my whole screen so I don't have to keep changing the sharing. I don't know, can I share? Um, okay, I think I've seen that. Uh, but I think I just have to do it that way because I'm not seeing an easier way to just share everything at once so I don't have to go over everything again and again. Uh, just give me a second. Please, I'll be right back. Give me a second, please. 1 minute. Uh,
Hello.
Okay, all right, I'm really sorry. I actually just came back, so I didn't, my PC was running low, so I had to quickly go to um, get my charger and everything. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back. I just came back. I was kind of in a hurry to check all of that. So I hope you can hear me now. So we go on. Can everyone hear me? Hello?
We can hear you.
All right. So please, I'm sorry for leaving for 1 minute. I needed to get my charger and everything. Okay. So, all right. So let's just go back to where we were. Share my screen. Where is this guy? So this is where we left off here. So we've done this adding. So this simply means you're adding individual files. But like I said, you could just add all files at once with git add. Okay, it saves you all of the stress, right? Then git commit, which is what we've done. So git commit m, my first commit. So it could be any message, just saying what you actually do or what you're doing at that particular point in time. So for us to be able to push our local repository to our online repository, so we can work with other people. Because if it's on a local machine, you can't work with everybody. You can't work with another developer. You're working with just yourself alone. But for you to work with a team of developers, you have to save it on your GitHub repository. Either you do it or the owner of the project or your team lead, anybody can do that and everybody can work on it, okay, together. So to do that, it's pretty simple. So you can see the URL here. You simply copy this guy here. Okay, you just copy this guy here. You can see git, github.com, Benjamin, Django Girls. That's the name of the project .git. Okay, so I'll stop sharing the screen and share my terminal. It's just kind of painful yet to go about all of these things. All right. So back to our terminal, I want to be able to save everything I've done here on my GitHub repository, right? That's what I'm trying to do. So it's pretty simple. So I'll just kind of say git, and I'll paste what I just copied, okay? Of course, this is not something you want to memorize, but if you want to, it's fine, because this GitHub and your username / the folder and .git is, it's quite straightforward. So first of all, git remote add origin, HTTPS, and so on and so forth. So with that, you hit your enter button. Now, I would want to sound a little bit of warning here. If you're doing this for the first time on your machine, you'll be asked to put in your password. You'll be asked to put in your password, your GitHub email and password. But since I'm not doing it for the first time, they won't ask me this, okay? But if you're doing it for the first time, you'll be asked for your email and password to confirm that, okay, yeah, you're actually the one trying to push a repository to your GitHub account, okay? So just take note of that. You'll just be asked for your email and password, okay? That's just it. Wherever on Git Bash, on PyCharm, on VS Code, on command line, anywhere, if you're doing it for the first time, the very first time, you'll be asked for your email and password, okay? So that's that. So the next, let's see. So the next thing after, so you've told Git that, okay, this way I want to push everything I've done. Okay, so how do you push it? It's simple, like, sorry, I like saying the word simple kind of because I don't want you to see like a difficult thing. If I keep saying, okay, maybe it's hard or it's tricky or you have to be careful, I don't want you to feel that it's something hard. Okay, that's why I want to say it's simple. Okay, okay. So but you just have to make sure you know what you're doing at each point in time. So you simply say git push dash u origin master. If you remember, we're actually working on the master branch. If you check here, you can see we are working on the master branch. So if you're working on a new feature, say you're working on say you're working on another branch, say feature one or feature two, you could push to that branch. But since you're working on the master branch, which is what we're doing, it's quite simple. You just say push master. If it's main, you could simply just say main, depending on the name of, but I think, let me just show us the reason why I chose the master as well too. Let me show us the reason why I chose the master. There's this guy here. So if you actually check this, okay, we'll see that later. It's not actually showing here, but we'll see that in a bit. We'll see that in a bit. Let me go back to this guy. So we simply do git push dash u. URL could you could simply means maybe push to this URL. This I've made reference to this URL before. Benjamin Obana / Django girls.git. So I'm just simply making reference to this, okay? And of course, I'm pushing to my master branch, as we'll see in a bit. So after that, you see, it's straightforward. You hit your enter button again. And I hope we don't get an error. It's going to tell us that it's pushing. Let me just take this guy off a bit. All right, so you can see these messages here, okay? Enumerating objects 12 done, counting objects 100%. The delta compression. Usually it has to compress, or you have to compress your files and upload it to GitHub. Then it decompresses it over there, okay? So compressing, done, writing objects, done, total, everything, you just have to read that. So this is the repository pushed to HTTPS Benjamin Obona, Django gears.git, new branch, master to master, okay? So you can see now it's telling you that the branch master on your GitHub repository is actually tracking your remote branch master from origin. Okay, so that's why I said it's, as we say in a bit, let me share my other screen. Well, you can see the message it's saying here, telling you that, okay, everything you've been working on has been pushed to your GitHub repository. So let me just, okay, you can actually share multiple screens. I'm not used to Zoom, I'm sorry. All right, so now, as you can see, let me just refresh this page. You won't see this window anymore. All right, so can we see my screen, please? Can we indicate on the chat box or use your voice? Can we see my screen, please? All right, I guess that's a yes. All right, so you can see the two files I have here. I have index. It's like my images is not being tracked. I don't know. I'm not seeing images here. Come, let me just check something. Let me be sure. And just wondering why. Okay, you know what? Let me just do something. I don't know why my image folder is not. Could be probably because it's empty. Let me quickly save an image in there, okay? Let me just save, okay. Just give me a second. Let me quickly just add an image into that folder. Um, Let me just add an image there. 1 minute. All right. All right. Why? What's wrong? Um, all right. So I'm done. Sorry about that. All right. So as we can see now, I have one image here now instead of PNG. So I could go over that process again. Git add, git commit dash message, added an image. Okay, I think it was probably because that folder was empty. So I can now push. So subsequent pushes, you don't have to actually do this line anymore. You don't have to do this, say, git remote, because since you've initialized, just like you do your init at the beginning, you don't have to do it again, okay? So subsequently, you just have to make reference to this git push dash your origin. So that's what I'm going to do, git push origin. Sorry, git push dash you origin master. So we have git push, so I'll just hit on my enter button. All right, I think that should be working right away. All right. All right. So let me refresh my browser. Very well. So you can see now the images directory is here telling me, okay, you can see my comments now. That's why I was talking about always trying to add a message to whatever we're doing. So you can see added an image, you can see the added second heading. Those are the comments I've made over time. You can see made some changes in the style file. And so far, I've made 5 commits so far. Yeah. If you count everything I've done so far, I've made just 5 commits. Okay. So, and over time, you can actually see the commits you've made when you track on it. Can you see? Added index page, added second heading, added image folder and CSS file for styling, and made some changes in style file and added, so added an image, not add an image. All right. And you can actually see the code. All right. So these are the changes I've made over time. So I'll just ignore this. We don't need a README file for now. So this pretty much like the process you have to go through working on your project. I can see we're on the Git master branch. Okay. Probably maybe you want to create another branch tomorrow. Say if you're working with a junior developer, or maybe you're the junior developer and your boss doesn't want you to mess up the code base, they could simply just create another branch here for you. Okay. You could create another branch here for you to maybe push your work over there. Then later on, they can merge together, okay, and have it as one branch. All right. Okay. So let me go back to my timeline. And now we can see over here when we check on Git status to see what the status of our work is. So you can see your branch is up to date with origin master, meaning everything is in sync right now. Everything is in sync. Even if you check, say Git ch, So let me take this up a little bit. Right. So I can actually check the branch I'm working on to say, okay, I'm working on Git, I'm working on the master branch. So I could simply type Git branch. So like I said earlier, let me shit, what happened? Okay, sorry, it seems you guys lost me in a bit. Okay. Okay, so let me go back a little bit. So say I'm working with somebody and maybe I joined a team or somebody joined my team and they want to make a pull request. Pull request, I'll just mention a little bit and you hear stuff like to fork a repository, you hear stuff like make a pull request, you hear stuff like so let me just quickly talk about um, issues. Issues here simply means this is your code base. Issues simply means you want to discuss issues about, let me say, your chart. You want to open a new issue, say, okay, something's wrong somewhere, you can open that here. Okay. So you can, issues are used to track to-dos, bugs, features, requests, and more, and so on and so forth. So you can create an issue here and you guys can discuss over like a chart. You say, okay, something's wrong here, something's wrong here, and everybody can make their contributions. Okay, that's what the issues. The pull request simply means you want to make a pull request. You want to download. Like we talked about. You want to push means you're uploading. Pull means you're downloading to your local machine. Okay, so you can make a request here. That's for your code to be merged to. You can see the logo here. Okay, so if you have say you've worked on a branch, maybe a future branch one, and you want to merge to the main branch, this you have to make a pull request to add to them. You can see the logo here. Simply means you're adding to the main branch, all right? And I think that's simply, this is just settings. Settings simply means you want to add collaborators. Where's that? Collaborators, you want to add people to your workflow. This is actually the step you need to take if you want to add other developers work with you. You could add through their email addresses or their GitHub user account, and you can deploy keys, email notifications. Hello, who's that? All right, thank you. That's for me. All right. So I think every other thing here is quite understandable. So let me go back to this guy here. All right. So, and also you can, if you don't want to make the normal pool, let me add all right. So if you don't want to go through this terminal or whatever we did here, you could actually decide to upload your files through this here. You decide to upload the file here, add file, create new file, upload file. So whichever way is easy for you, you still go through the same process. When you upload a file here, you have to make comment, okay? You have to say, I added a new file or something, and so on and so forth. So basically, anything you do, I always advise to add a message there, okay? So for you to know what and what you did at any point in time, you don't have to be lost and say, okay, I did this, but I couldn't track what I did. I did this, but I don't know what I did here. So it's quite simple. So After you add the files, like I said, you can choose files. You can decide to choose files or drag files here, whichever way you want to. You can actually do that. And so let me just cancel since we're not going to do that. So lastly, um, there's what we call yeah, I was talking about to fork a repository. To fork a repository simply means you want to make a contribution. You want to make a suggest. Yeah, probably you saw a project online. I want to we use the word fork because we want to make a contribution to the project. We want to say, okay, hey man, I love the project you're working on. Can I make a contribution? Can I make a suggestion to what you're working on? And so you have to use the fork link. We say we are forking repository. Okay, that's what that means. So it's not the funny one. Okay, it's normal and the fork we know. Okay. So lastly, what else am I forgetting on this page? All right. So talking about clone, so you see someone else's project and you want to work on it. You could decide to download it. Yeah, you download the entire file. You could decide to open it on GitHub. Now, this I won't really dive into this because this is really simple. It's just the way you use your GitHub, but let me just see if I have it. Uh, Git. Uh, I don't have it because I rarely use it actually. Git desktop is just a GUI, like a graphical user interface, a GUI version of our our terminal. So if you really don't want to use your terminal to say, okay, I don't want to get myself hooked up with the Git commit, Git this, push, and so on and so forth, you could decide to use your Git desktop, okay, and everything works the same way, pretty the same way. It's quite simple, okay, and all right. So you could use the open it on desktop, which is straightforward. But everything we do is being done under the hood for you. The Git commit, the Git add, the Git push, everything will be done under the hood for you. Or you could decide to clone it. Clone simply means everything you don't want to download it, you don't want to open on your GitHub, you just want to clone. So you can actually do that. So I think I've done pretty much everything on GitHub. So the process goes on and on and on and on. So finally, let me share my presentation again. I hope you can actually see my presentation. So basically, the process goes, the cycle goes on. So you could see something like, okay, there are two ways to go about this. You write your code, you add it, you make commits, and you make a pull request. Like I said, pull request simply means you're asking your boss or your team lead if you could merge your files. So it's just like saying you want to join a user group or you want to post something on a group. The admin has to approve it first. So it's same way, okay? So you have to make a pull request. And when your pull request is accepted, your code will be merged, okay? Or if you want to take this other way, you write code, you stage your changes just like what we did. Sorry. You commit changes by using git commit. You push. That's pretty much what we did, okay? So when you push, you could decide to make. But usually, if you're the owner of the code, you don't have to make a pull request. You just have to say whether you have to make a pull request to you. So what else again? So you can see basically what we've done. So we have the gate branching. So we have the commit one. We made our first commit just like what we saw here. You can see the first commit, second commit, third commit, fourth commit, and fifth commit, okay? So you could actually see your commits over time, first commit, second commit, third commit. You could make a branch and, okay? So And later on, maybe when you make a pull request and your boss approves a pull request, saying, okay, want to make these changes and the changes will be done. Basically, you might not really have much work to do there, saying, except maybe you're the owner of the code base. But if you're not the owner of the code base, maybe you're working under your boss or something. So the merge will be done by him. Okay. So you just have to make a pull request and your pull request to be granted and the code will be merged together. Right. So I don't know if there's any question. Someone has a question to ask. So does anyone have any question? So I reiterate again, you initialize your Git repository, you add your files, you make a commit, you push, and so on. So the cycle goes on and on. So over time, you can see your changes. Okay, so that's pretty much that. So anyone have any question? Let me stop sharing my screen. So anyone have anything to say to me or something before we hang up for the call? Deborah, are you here with me? Hello? Oh, God. All right, so I don't know. If no other, I think, or maybe you can ask a question on the group. If you have any concern, any question, if you don't want to ask here, on the group, you could throw your question and we answer over there. If no one have any question here, and meanwhile, I think I'm going to get a slide ready, so I send to the group and we can go over it later and ask our question. If you missed the section here, you could go over this again. Okay, so I'll share the slides on the group, or I'll share with Deborah, so she posts on the group. So I think that's it from me. That's it from me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach Ogbonna Benjamin. Thank you very much for that wonderful class. Although the network was going bad, but it was amazing, really. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you. Thank you very much for being here. And thank you, our coach, also. On behalf of Django Girls community, we say a big thank you. On behalf of all the organizers, thank you so very much for your time. Stay blessed. And we have officially come to the end of the workshop for this session. Thank you very much for attending. Peace. Bye.